welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Emily Nguyen, who is the Director of Sales Finance at A10 Networks. Hi, Emily.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about finance. It's not a common topic here, but it's
Right.
exciting to talk about finance because it matters a lot.
Yeah.
Now, you are in charge of the forecasting.
Yes.
As a publicly traded company, that's a very important number everyone looks at every quarter.
Totally.
Explain a bit to us, though. What does that mean, sales, finance, and forecasting in particular?
So, all publicly traded company are required to report their financial result according to the GAAP or General Accepted Accounting Principle. And you often hear they're talking about revenue. A lot of the decision are made based on revenue, right? If you are on a growth projection, then you want to see how you can invest in the company, building innovation, where should you go, who should you hire. And if you're on a declining projection, then sometimes it's required you to make certain difficult decisions for the company. And it's not only impacting the business, but it's impacting the people of the company as well. So revenue forecasting is very important, and it's create credibility for the company as well.
How do you make sure that your forecasting is as accurate as possible? What is involved in getting that number right?
So I work very closely with the sales leadership team. We looked at pipeline and look at deal, understanding the deal structure, and understanding anything that could potentially impact revenue. Because my assumption is only as good as the data that they feed me.
Yes.
So then we do need to work together quite a bit and provide transparency in the communication so that I can build a more accurate forecast.
Okay, so maybe you can go into some of the finance jargon. Like there's, like from the salespeople's point of view, it's like I already closed the deal, right? I should get paid on that, right?
Right.
But they're like billing, booking, revenue recognition. That's all kinds of finance terms.
Sure, they sound intimidating,
Yes.
but they're not. So 4 things I'll cover. One is the booking, and that's when you take the deal off the street, the seller won the deal, you have commitment from the customer to purchase from you. And this is one of the key metrics that a lot of organizations are measured on. Secondly is billing. Billing is when you invoice the customer. You're asking them to pay for the payment or the goods or services that they purchase from you. And sometimes, depending on the contract, some customer might require you to bill them annually or semi-annually or quarterly or even monthly. Third, which is the critical part, is the revenue, but a lot goes behind the screen to convert the booking to the revenue. And fourth is the deferred revenue. So while you want the booking, you deliver the products, but sometimes you can't recognize it because that product or services might be a term. A good example is support. So a lot of time, customer buy the product with like 1, 3, or 5 years support.
Right.
You can recognize all the product upfront, but then the support piece, if let's say the customer purchased 1 year, then each month you can only recognize 1/12 of that.
Right.
So understanding those all 4 components is important as part of the revenue forecast.
And then what about on the marketing front? Because marketing tends to be the one spending the money, right? How do you help
Yes.
them on the marketing front?
Yes. Every time you ask marketing something to do, they're like, finance, give me more money.
More money.
Right? But a lot of marketing, there's 2 things. There is expenses, right? Things that they are required to spend on. Besides headcount, traveling, but program spend, event spend, right? Few events that help them to generate demand gen. And how does that demand gen convert into opportunities, right? Into getting into the pipeline so that we can win the bookings. Yeah.
So the ROI of the spending.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and do you help them come up with maybe different solutions on how to generate more results for less spending?
Yeah, so for example, sometimes you want to look at what's the return on an event that they did, right? for example, in the security industry, RSA is a big event in
Yes.
San Francisco. You have a
Yes.
lot of traffic. And sometimes you have to analyze the cost, how much you're willing to put that. Do you want a big cube and be the attention getter, or do you want just a small cube in the middle section, right? So that depending on what they have available with the budget. Yeah.
Let's talk about the trends that are in your space, because I know your background is you were at HP for a long time doing finance, and
Yeah.
then you went into this product operations for the
Yes.
security product at HPE, which got bought out by
Like focus.
Micro Focus. Okay, so that gave you this broader experience than
Yes.
just finance. You went to
Yes.
operations.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience of the operations and how that's helping you now at A10.
Yeah. I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to do that. I was on the finance side, and I was involved with the some of the acquisition. HPE actually acquired 3 security company at that time, ArcSight, Fortify, and Tipping Point, and I helped them to lead the finance transformation for those company. Then eventually, I worked closely with the ArcSight product management team and was offered a job to join them and to run the operation. And so I was owning the end-to-end process of a product life cycle, right? From product inception to product launch to post-sale support. And is a very broad role, but very critical role, because you always want to make sure that R&D is on track for product release, right? Marketing is ready for product announcement, and sales are enabled on the new product portfolio, the features, if there's new pricing, right? And if there are customer support escalation, who's involved, how do we resolve that? And if anytime we have a breach, how do we communicate that to the customer? R&D, when you're going to get a fix out there. So it was a very critical role. It was a lot that I've learned, but it gave me the opportunity to see the entire holistic view. And it's really made me a better finance person, because now I understand how the business function and what it takes to make a business successful.
Right, it makes you a better finance business partner
Yes.
with the sales, marketing, and,
Yes.
and engineering. Tell us about A10 Network's history a little bit.
So the company was founded in 2004 by our CEO, Lee Chan. And over time, we expanded from securing and managing just application and network to other areas such as SSL encryption, decryption, and then now into detecting and stopping the DDoS attack, and then also securing the 5G network.
Okay, Emily, so I always want to ask about lessons learned, because that's where, it helps people who are in that journey.
Right.
What would you like to share?
I think as finance trusted advisor to the business is good for someone in my field to understand how the business is structured, how they operate, and what motivates them in order for you to build that trusted relationship. Because a lot of things that you do in finance, again, go back to your data is only as good as what goes in, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So once you have that good relationship with the business, help them to grow and to get where they want to be, and financially putting model together, but really be part of the team, right? And it'd be good for someone in finance to have different exposure to different function, support marketing, understand what they do, right? And then with sales, who's involved, what it takes, how do you look at the number, how do you look at the deals, and for R&D, right? What are some of the investment that they want to get into, right? Low cost versus high cost. So having a good finance background help you to understand what are the business needs and what would it require to help the business get there.
And like with sales, if you have a good relationship with them, they'll probably invite you into the discussion early in the process when there's something that's out of the ordinary.
Right. The more you know, the more you can build it in the process. And early on, everyone is always optimistic on the deal. But as you come to the deadline at the quarter end, it's very crucial that you are as accurate as you can. So even if a deal goes sideways and that you need the sales team to communicate that to you immediately.
Right. And having that good relationship really helps to facilitate the communication. Yes. Okay, I can see that. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think A10 is in a fantastic space of high growth right now. In particular, let's talk about some of the exciting work that A10 is helping clients to do, like the 5G transformation.
So our customer includes enterprises such as Morgan Stanley, cloud provider Microsoft, Azure, service provider Comcast, or web giant Yahoo. And our products help these companies to secure their application, their network, and their services.
Okay. So as they're moving from 4G to 5G, there are a lot of changes in the infrastructure, right?
Yes. And our product, we were differentiated from our competitor primarily because our product can scale and it provides high performance, and it can scale to the requirement of the multi-cloud environment and 5G network. For instance, as the mobile operator transitioning to 5G, there's going to be more use on the network, right? So there's going to be more traffic flow other than just beyond the smartphone nowadays. And 5G is going to be so fast enough that it's going to enable smart city or autonomous vehicles, right? And even today, you hear Tesla talking about the autonomous capability, which isn't far off. And these are going to be mission critical. And at A10, we will make sure that the 5G is secure and is available for people to use.
Yes, I hear a lot about the edge computing, right? The IoT, edge computing, but all of that computing requires the network to send the data back and forth, and that's what you do. It's the security of the network at scale for the multi-cloud and the 5G. Okay.
And we also help our service provider. So they're constantly under threat of a denial of service or DDoS attacks on the network, where hackers just want to take down the system, right? And why it's not mission critical, but they can lose millions of dollars, which is lost revenue for them if the system is down. So
and the players are not happy.
No.
To them, that's mission critical is playing online.
And with our machine learning capabilities and our new product, TPS, we can help to detect and stop those attacks very rapidly.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's exciting then, right? Is that what's more exciting ahead for you, is actually doing the 5G network?
Yes, I think it'd be a great year for A10 ahead now that we're leading this 5G transformation. Okay.
I appreciate you talking about finance because, I think we talk a lot about sales enablement, marketing, and all that, but all of those departments actually have to team up with finance in the end, and as a publicly traded company, the forecasted number is so critical. So you're playing a great role in the organization. Well, thanks for being on the show talking about finance.
Thank you.
There you have it, Emily Nguyen from A10 Networks.